Okay.
Hi guys, this is Nico here in Sakrima Podcast. I'm here with my special guest, my friend Miranda. Please welcome. Can you introduce yourself and tell us where are you now and what do you do?
Hi, everyone. And thanks so much, Nico, for having me on this first podcast. I'm really excited to be here virtually. So I'm Miranda and I work with an organization called the Museum of Homelessness. And it is a museum. It does a lot around education around homelessness, but also it's a social justice museum. So also a key part of its work is around researching and campaigning for change.
Wow, that's nice. I know that we done a training. You came to our talk one time for NACOM. You know when you said, I want to be honest, when I heard about Museum of Homelessness, I was thinking negative maybe, but I thought it was a big museum about, yeah. Yeah, so you can explain to me what it really means when you say about Museum of Homelessness?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people know it for different sorts of projects that maybe aren't always associated with, like you say, the kind of the image of a big museum where you have to kind of maybe keep quiet and look at all the exhibitions. The Museum of Homelessness, encourages talking about things, and it doesn't have a building at the moment. So some of the exhibitions are done in different locations. Currently looking for a building. So definitely, if anyone is interested in talking about that, please get in touch. But yeah, the museum collects object stories. So that's objects that different people want to give to the museum or on loan to the museum to represent different elements of homelessness and different stories behind the really wide range experiences that can be involved in homelessness. So not just the image of perhaps somebody sleeping on the streets, but all the different kinds of things that can come with being
Yeah.
homeless. And yeah, I came to talk to you, didn't I, about a project that we do specifically called the Dying Homeless Project, which is a really emotional project. And it's about remembering people who have died whilst they've been homeless with love and with dignity. And again, when we say homeless, we don't just mean people on the streets, although that does include, but we also mean people who haven't got a sort of settled, safe place to call home for themselves. So that might be people who have come to the UK, who are still waiting for immigration status to be settled, people who are housed by the Home Office, people who are staying, moving around with friends, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's good. There's one thing. One time I was talking to you in our workshop. You touched something about freedom of information. I remember there was something I was sharing a story as
Mm.
well about my friend who passed away here in Glasgow, but we didn't get all the details about what happened. So maybe you can just say to the people, explain a bit about freedom of information, how to go around it, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the ways that we work on the Dying Homeless Project, actually, there's a website where we hold memorials for the different people who have died, and that's because we feel that people can often be overlooked. We don't want people to be forgotten, but we want to make sure that we remember people for who they were and for what people loved about them. So it's not about focusing on their circumstances. It's about remembering that each person who dies is an individual who touched other people's lives. And we get the information in lots of different ways. And yes, freedom of information requests is one of those ways. So for people who don't know, that freedom of information is like a law where you can write to public authorities like the council, for example, or the Home Office, and you can ask them for certain types of information. So for us, for this project, we ask how many people were living in your homeless accommodation, like hostels and that kind of thing, and who died in, and we usually specify like what year we're looking at. And we ask the councils to give us the number of people, their age, and their suspected cause of death. And the councils have to respond. They don't always give all of the information, but they have to at least reply. And there's certain conditions, if they think it's going to take them a really, really long time and it will cost them too much, maybe they will refuse to give you the information. Some councils say they don't have the information, but it's always worth asking. And you can ask all sorts of different things under freedom of information.
Oh, that's really cool. I was thinking like for example, I know I shared that sad story about my friend. I'm still like really not happy about the way the thing was handled and stuff. And the other thing, I'm just looking at the Home Office. I don't think really the Home Office cares much about if asylum seeker dies or homeless person dies. You know, if there's any other way, how can we raise this awareness actually to get them to pay attention a bit? In your own opinion, not about your work, in your own opinion.
Yeah, this is something that's really like hot on our minds at the moment, and sadly, because it has to be, because it is happening. How can we get people to pay attention? Keep shouting, keep making people aware who wouldn't know otherwise. In my own view, I think if you have friends who have migrated to this country, you might have a bit of an understanding. If you work in specific types of organizations, you might have a bit of understanding. But I think a lot of people in the UK might not even have any sort of real, do you know what I mean? I can't think of the word. They just don't even get what it's like for people who are coming in really difficult circumstances. And they might hear the words hostile environment, but I don't know if that necessarily translates to understanding what that means day to day, minute to minute, for an actual person whose Aspen card isn't working, or who doesn't know where they're going to be moved to tomorrow, where are they going to be living, who doesn't know, if something bad happens to me, how will my family know about it? All of those things, I think a lot of people don't understand.
I think it's about a lack of knowledge from the public. For example, those of people are trying to talk to them. I mean, like, not in the podcast, but the public sometimes. I'm in the pub, chat to some people born in this country. They don't know the difference between asylum seeker and a refugee. And as well, it's kind of like, it's really sad because the government is not doing much to actually raise awareness in the positive way. They always talk negative during the elections and blah, blah, and stuff like that. And secondly, you're right.
Exactly.
Some people spend time on television. They never traveled. They live in Scotland. They never been London. Imagine to Africa. It's like, so the world is a little bit behind about that. But I'm just going to close talking to Miranda. I just want you to tell us about, if you want people to get in touch with you, and where are you, how excited you are now. I know you're in Greece right now. And just close with something that you like people to hear.
Okay, well, thank you for listening. And another project that we're working on with Museum of Homelessness is around some of these issues, actually, with the hostile environment. And we're looking at different myths that are spreading, like negative, like false negative things about migration and homelessness. And we're looking at documenting some of the really difficult things that have been happening recently around quality of accommodation that Home Office is providing and that kind of thing. So if anybody would like to speak further about any of these things, then please do get in touch with me. And my email address is Miranda, Miranda, @museumofhomelessness.org.
Nice to have you, Miranda. Thank you so much for coming to Sakuma podcast.